Hello everybody, my name is Parth Pariban and today we will basically going to solve a slab number theory question. I'm taking this question as a slab question because the origin of this question is from Russia. Okay, it is a number theory question and it is simply saying us that we need to find all those values of n being integral such that this expression will going to be an integer. Okay, so it is just a pretty understandable question and we just need to evaluate those values of n for which this expression holds. So this is a Slav question, and Valdemar Putin and I am really concerned about its solution. So we will going to straightforwardly proceed towards it. All right. I will first need to change the color in order to give it a better outlook. Yeah. Okay. So first, as simple as that, which every person do is we need to make the numerator having degree less than the degree which is basically being having denominator, which means we need to reduce first of all this expression by division. Here we have n square plus 7 and n cube plus 3. We will be going to physically divide it first. I'm simply multiplying here n, as you can see here. Okay, so it will basically going to be like n cube plus 7n. Okay, and I'm going to minus, this will going to cancel out itself, and it will going to be 3 minus of 7 times m. So this is the resultant that we shall need to get from here. Okay, so now as per the division algorithm that we can basically establish here. Okay, we need to establish the division algorithm. We can write n cube plus 3 as n times of n square plus 7 plus 3 minus 7n. All right. And if we divide both sides by n square plus 7, it will going to be like n square plus 7 divided by n square plus 7. All right, so this and this expression will going to cancel itself, and we can simply cancel it for all the values of n as a complex real whole integer, because we all know that n square plus 7 never will going to become 0 for any real value of n. All right, so proceeding ahead, we can write n square plus n cube plus 3 divided by n square plus 7 as n plus 3 minus 7n divided by n square plus 7. We need to solve for all those integral values of n for which this expression here is an integer. Okay, and we all know that n is also an integer, so we actually need to solve for all those value of integral n for which this expression is an integer. So our main challenge is now to prove all those integral values of n for which this fucking expression is an integer. Because if this is an integer, this is if this is proved to be an integer, this is always going to be an integer. The addition will always going to be integer, which will going to satisfy our original question of n cube plus 3 divided by n square plus 7 to be an integer. Okay. All right. So moving ahead. Now, as any normal person do when you arrive in such a situation, any normal person who will going to do anything random associated here, I will basically going to put 3 minus 7n divided by n square plus 7 equals to x. Simple. Okay, it is just to establish a quadratic formula in order to evaluate the discriminant and to prove that it is perfect square or greater than 0. Any of these conditions might help in order to solve our question. So let us see what we can develop in our future here. So here 3 minus 7n can be written as here x is a what? X is something natural, I think so. It is n squared x plus 7x. Okay, now I can establish a quadratic equation here, because establishing a quadratic equation can help us to solve and explore more about this question here. So here we can see that the coefficient of n square is x, the coefficient of n is 7. Okay, then we have plus of 7x minus 3 is equals to 0. I'm having American accent right now, so don't judge me. I'm an Indian. Yeah. So by Sridharacharya formula in America you usually say it as a quadratic formula. It will going to be negative 7 plus minus the square root of 49 minus 4 times of x times of 7x minus 3 divided by 2 times of x. Okay. So when you will basically going to reduce it, when you will going to achieve a final expression here, you will basically going to get the value of n as -7 plus minus a square root of 49 minus 28x square minus 12x divided by 2x. So this is the expression which you will basically going to get in terms of x for n. Okay. Nice. Now we all know that. Now let us establish something, some reasonable sources here. We all know that n is actually a natural number. X is also a natural number. So for n to be a natural number, this expression here also needs to be a natural number. And for this expression here to be a natural number, it is quite evident that this whole shit, which is under this square root, needs to be a perfect square, and also greater than or equal to 0. So these conditions must always be satisfied for values of x which is also belonging to naturality here. Okay. So moving ahead to satisfy the same conditions. So first I will basically going to establish the condition that it must be positive, because that's the most obvious thing that should be here, which is to establish the fact that 49 minus 28 x squared minus 12x is greater than or equal to 0 for x belongs to something natural. I think so. When you will basically going to solve for x here, or when you will going to do like 28x squared plus 12x minus 49 is smaller than or equal to 0, then we're going to get the approximate values of x here as negative of 1.55, 1.125. Okay, and when you will basically going to sketch out the wavy curve, you will basically going to get that x will going to be in between negative 1.55 to 1.125. And also we also know that x is a natural number. Okay, so these two things are there. So what are the total possible values of x which can exist here according to this expression? So the total possible values of x which can exist here will going to be, first it can be like -1, it can be 0, and it can be 1. Okay, these are the only values here. But you need to understand one thing, that x cannot be 0. Why? X cannot be 0 because here in the value of n you can see x is in the denominator, and denominator can never be 0. So x cannot be 0. So this condition needs to be removed from here. So x cannot be fucking 0. All right, so the only two values of x which we are basically having is -1 and 1. These are the only two values of x which we can have. So just putting them and evaluating the total possible values of n that we can basically get, as we all know that n was having the expression like, let me write this again, it was like +7 plus minus a square root of 49 minus 28 x square minus 12x divided by 2x, like something. Okay, so x is having values like 1 and -1 will going to satisfy here. So when I will going to put 1, the values that I will going to get will going to be 49, -28, -12. Okay, like 49, -20, it is 21, -12, it is 9. So like, so here you will going to get the values like 7 plus 3, 10 by 2, 5, and 4 by 2, 2. So now I will basically going to put the values here. I will now going to put -1, but when you will going to put -1, you will going to get the value of n as 33 divided by -2. So this cannot be our answer because this is not a natural number. So only two natural numbers which are satisfying the original expression is 5 and 2 only. So this is our answer for this question, the Slav question. So what was the original question here? We need to find all those values of n for which this expression will always going to have integer output, and this will only going to be happen when the values of n that we will going to put is either 2 or 5. So these are the only two values, and they are also prime. So this was a Slav number 3 question, a Russian question always at its peak. Thank you. If anyone is watching it, I know that in today's world we are all developing and we are all have certain responsibilities. But if you are very useless, then only you will going to be watching this video. But blessing in disguise, you have learned something new. For that, you must be appreciating yourself. Thank you.